Hi all, thank you for tuning in to Trees for Houston education presentation. Trees for Houston is a nonprofit in the Houston area dedicated to planting trees for public benefit. We plant trees around streets, parks, schools, and any other areas that will benefit our community. Every year we plant about 20,000 trees around our city, and since our inception in 1983, we have planted over 600,000 trees. That is over 500,000 trees. So why do we focus on planting trees, you may ask? Because trees not only benefit those areas where we plant them, but all our community as a whole. So for example, if you plant a tree in your front yard, that tree will not only beautify your yard and provide shade to your house, but also it will benefit your neighborhood and provide shade to anyone who walks by your house. So trees really benefit everyone. And as we will talk about later, they have many benefits. So now let's talk a little bit about the parts of a tree. First off, we have the leaves. Leaves help the tree make its own food through the process of photosynthesis, which we will talk about in a bit. Then we have branches. Branches and twigs grow out of the tree trunk and serve as support structures for leaves, flowers, and fruit. They also transport materials between the trunk and the leaves. The trunk stabilizes the tree and helps it stand strong and tall. It also helps transport nutrients from the roots to the rest of the tree. And finally, we have roots. The roots absorb water and other nutrients from the ground, helping the tree grow. Roots also anchor the tree to the ground and store food reserves for the winter. Now let's look inside of a tree's trunk. The outer bark is the tree's protection from the outside world. It keeps moisture out when it rains and prevents the tree from losing moisture when the air is dry. Think of it as the tree's jacket. The inner bark, also known as phloem, is the pipeline through which food is passed to the rest of the tree. The cambium layer is the growing part of the trunk. It annually produces new bark and new wood. The sapwood layer transports water from the roots to the leaves. And finally, heartwood is the central supporting pillar of the tree. Although dead, it will not decay or lose strength while the outer layers are intact. Now let's move on to learn about tree rings. Tree rings are the lines that we see on tree cookies, which are the cutouts of the tree's trunk. These rings can tell us many things about the life of a tree. Things such as how much the tree grew in a specific year, what the climate was like that year, if the tree had been injured by a fire, or pushed to grow in a particular direction. For example, on this picture shown on the screen, we can see a dark spot on the tree cookie. This lets us know that the tree was injured by a fire. By counting the darker lines on tree cookies, we can tell how old a tree is. Darker lines represent slower growth during a year, and lighter lines represent faster growth. Each spring and summer, a tree adds new layers of wood to its trunk. The wood formed in spring grows fast and is lighter because it consists of larger cells. Now, there are two main types of trees, deciduous and evergreen. Deciduous trees are trees that lose all of their leaves for part of the year. So in the winter, when you see some trees without leaves, those are deciduous. And evergreen are the trees that have leaves all year round. And as I mentioned earlier, trees make their food through the process of photosynthesis. For photosynthesis, trees need sunlight and carbon dioxide found in our air to make energy to grow. As a result, they also release oxygen to the air, which helps us breathe. So now let's talk about some of the benefits of trees. Trees help clean our air. Trees help remove harmful particles from the air so we have cleaner air to breathe. And again, through the process of photosynthesis, trees provide us with oxygen for us to breathe. Trees also provide shade. This is really important for all of us here in Houston since it gets so hot during the summer months. In the two pictures shown, one house is shaded by trees and one is not. The house that is not shaded is going to be warmer than the one that is, as well as the car parked in the driveway. The house shaded by trees is being protected from direct sunlight and therefore making it cooler and more pleasant. Trees also provide food. There are many delicious fruits and nuts that come from trees, such as apples, bananas, oranges, and pecans. Trees also help reduce flooding. Since trees need water to grow, when it rains, trees absorb some of that water so that not all of it is running off into streets and homes. Trees' roots also help by breaking up our soil and creating tiny spaces for water to flow into. Trees also make us happy. Many studies have shown that spending time outside around nature can help us be happier and healthier. And finally, trees provide food and habitat for wildlife. Trees can provide food for squirrels, birds, and many other animals, as well as provide homes for them. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed.